Welcome to the Marketing Revolution podcast. This is the underground movement of savage marketers from all over the world. We are not Fortune 500 companies. We are real entrepreneurs with real businesses that have one major thing in mind: to set goals and devour them daily. Because we understand that everyone wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Marketing Revolution podcast and the Marketing Savage Facebook group. Hope you guys are having an amazing Monday. Man, I am freaking tired, yo. I am tired. Ended up, yesterday was the very first day. Many of you guys know that I'm doing 75 hard. And yesterday was the very first day that I hadn't gotten both of my exercises done before, I'd say 9 a.m. is probably the latest that I've went on a daily basis. And we're talking Saturday, Sunday. On most days, I actually have both of my workouts done by 7:30 a.m. But yesterday was a day, Sunday, that I could not do that simply because many of you guys know that we were at the mastermind. If you guys haven't listened to the last few podcasts, I was having my War Room mastermind in Zion National Park. And one of the things about Zion National Park is that it's not really too close to any airports. I mean, you do have St. George that you can get to the town of Springdale. It takes about an hour and a half. And we did spend the first 2 nights in Springdale. But when we went to go get our Airbnb, there was no Airbnbs available on that side of the mountain or on that side of the canyon. So we had to get one that was clear up on the other side, meaning Springdale is like at the bottom of Zion Canyon. And if any of you have been to Zion National Park, you'll know that when you drive through it, you actually drive from the bottom of the canyon to the top of the canyon. So we ended up getting an Airbnb on the top of the canyon, which was a place called the Ponderosa, Zion Ponderosa Ranch Resort. It was kind of cool. I mean, they had, they had all kinds of fun stuff to do. They had skeet shooting, they had horse riding, they had several trailheads that I'm going to talk about here in a minute because that's the purpose of the podcast. But ended up by the time you're on the other side of the canyon to get to St. George Airport, you got to drive all the way back through Zion National Park, which actually turned out being really fucking cool at nighttime. I thought it was going to be weird because of solid darkness. But they actually, the way the roads were paved and they had little reflectors everywhere, it was actually pretty fucking cool. So we were about 2 hours from the airport. Our flight left at like 5:30 a.m. or something like that. So we literally had to get up at 2:30 a.m. to start, and drive to the airport. The funny thing was, our whole house was like, we had a bunch of people partying and stuff like that. And John Vidine, some of you guys might know him, some of you guys might not. He owns the company Dent Reaper, was still up, fucking hammered. And Cole Fox and Sean Shalat were both up with him, and they didn't really look that like they had been drinking that much. In fact, I don't even think Cole was drinking anything, and I think they were just sitting around watching sloppy drunk John tell one-liner jokes. So, because he's like the king of one-liners. I mean, you couldn't hold a conversation with John for 5 minutes without hearing at least 10 one-liner jokes. So that being said, people are still up partying by the time we leave. So we're getting everything loaded up, leave. We end up heading to the airport. Couldn't do my 75 hard until we got all the way back here at home. So I didn't get over and start 75 hard. I actually came over to my shop and started it at 6 p.m., maybe 6:30 p.m. And I didn't finish till about 8:15. So I ended up doing the outdoor weighted vest workout. And then I came in and I actually got a bench and some weights here. And I actually did my weightlifting workout here as well. So that being said, crazy weekend, a lot of working out. And one of the things that was kind of interesting about it is we ended up going on this hike and on this hike, basically it felt like we were fucking climbing a mountain. And I know that we weren't climbing a mountain, and it was only an 8-mile hike. Let me tell you something, an 8-mile hike can wildly range. And because that 8 miles could be straight the fuck uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill. But that's exactly what the hike was that we had taken that day. It was a place called the Lookout. And so we're just hiking along. And I mean, we're probably maybe 30 minutes into it, and we're asking people as they're walking back by, how much further is it? And they're like, oh, well, you got a long way to go. But every person that we walked by looked at us and said, trust me, it's worth it. So the first part of the hike was, flat land and pretty flat anyway. There wasn't a lot of incline, decline, I would say, for the first 50% of it. You're just kind of walking through the woods, and sometimes you're walking in sand, other times you're walking in rock, sometimes you're walking in something that looks more along the lines of a dirt trail. But you're trudging, you're getting through. And stay with me here because I got a business lesson to talk about with this. Because it really made me think about it. People were asking me if I had deep thought during the thing, and if I came up with any deep thoughts. And to be honest with you, during that time, I didn't. It wasn't until after we came back and I thought about everything that we had went through that day. Because not only did I do my 275 hard workouts earlier that morning, I ended up doing this shit that ended up taking me about 4 hours of just straight workout time. So we're trudging along, right? We're about 50%. Then we start getting into the things where we're like all the way down a hill, right? And I'm sitting here thinking like, dude, we're going to have to fucking walk up this thing. And then next thing you know, we're way, way up a hill. And I mean, it just goes up and down and up and down and up and down for the rest of the trip. So either we were, breathing really, really hard because we were going up a hill, or we were trying to stop ourselves from slipping because we were going down a hill full of rocks and shit like that. And then occasionally we'd see some little old lady walk by us, and I'd look back at everybody and be like, don't even fucking bitch and complain now, guys. Some like little old lady made it here. I think you guys can make it, which really surprised me. It really surprised me. A few of the folks that I seen on that trail, because we actually had some members that was with us that, especially on the way back, because that was mainly incline, were like completely hunched over. So it just seemed like it took forever to get to this lookout spot. Just took forever. And as we got closer, people would tell us, hey, don't go right on this fork, don't go left on this one, or don't go right on that one. So it was kind of neat because we ran into guides on the way there that had already made it there. And because we had ran into these guides that had already made it to the lookout, we were actually able to, what I feel was able to learn from their mistakes. I mean, they were really cool about it. Like one girl stopped us and she goes, do not go left up here. And we're like, okay, because you could see the look on her face. She was with her boyfriend, and I think her boyfriend had them go left down a trail, and it took them somewhere fucked up. And then they had to come all the way back and go the right direction. Now, what I want you guys to think about, that's a lot how mentors are in your life, or people that have already been somewhere, okay? Because without them two coming along that have already experienced the pain of going left on that trail, we wouldn't have known. We were given the shortest route. We were taught the shortest route. And a lot of people don't realize that when it comes to mentors and guides that we come across in our life, that if they've already traveled the path that we're starting to walk on, there's a lot of just little shit that they can actually say or do for us that will stop us from wandering down the wrong fucking path for who knows how long. And not to mention, maybe you wander around down that fucking path and you get discouraged and then you never make it to the top. Now, keep in mind, we're going to what is said to be the most beautiful lookout in all of Zion National Park. Like the most incredible stand on top of a fucking mountain, lookout, dream fucking view that you've ever seen in your life. That's what we're moving towards, right? I want you guys to think about your dream, the dream in your life, right? That you're moving towards. How can you get there? And you know that it's going to be hard. Sometimes you're going to have to do a lot of work. And what you're looking for during that is what kind of guides could actually help get you there faster. In fact, I would say that that's a hack. That's literally a hack to make you going from exactly where you're at to where you want to be, and to skip a few levels, to skip a few heartbreaks, to get there very quickly. So it's something that took me a long time to learn. And many of you guys know that I'm a proponent of that. Not only am I involved in mastermind groups, but I have coaches that work with me. I want to get to the path as quick as possible, and I don't want to waste any time. I'll spend money because money comes back. Time will never come back. So here we are, moving along the mountain, right? And we're going up and down all this terrain. And we finally get to getting very, very close to the point. There was like one lookout that was breathtaking. In fact, as we were getting closer, within 10 minutes of the lookout, it was just absolutely beautiful. We were looking at the side of these giant canyon walls. We were like on top of one of them. So we're looking across and we see them, and we're on top of one of these fucking mountains looking down in these beautiful canyons. And we're sitting there walking along, and I'm like, wow, how can the view even get much better? You know? And that's usually where people stop in business. You know, they tend to get comfortable. We could have easily stopped and just went up to the side of that canyon wall and looked and said, wow, this is beautiful. I mean, this is amazing. But the thing is, we would have never seen the fucking promised land. You know what I mean? We would have never seen. And I'm telling you that this path on Zion was about as close to the fucking promised land as you could ever see in your entire life. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. Some of you guys seen my Facebook profile. Some of you guys have seen the pictures that I posted. It was breathtaking, but they're nothing compared to what it actually looked like when we got to the top. So here we are, 10 minutes from the top, and we see all these beautiful views. And then we're probably about 30 feet from the top. There's this kind of like a little area that is still all wooded, and it's kind of like, really big and wide, but you got woods on both sides. But then on one side, you got a little tree, and you got probably the scariest fucking drop off I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it looked like a hole where you could jump into fucking Narnia or some shit. I mean, it was beautiful, but it was like literally walking onto the edge of a rock, and just a straight fucking drop. And so now I knew we were getting close, right? So we're getting close. We're getting close to we're seeing some of these amazing things. And right up that hill is the very, very top of the peak called the Lookout. We stepped up there, and you could see all of fucking Zion Park. You could see their beautiful Angels Landing. You could see all the way down into the little town of Springdale that we were staying at. We could, clear in the distance, we could see the little speckle of the Cable Mountain Lodge that we had stayed in earlier that week. Down at the bottom, you could see the little sparkles from the town that was glowing clear at the end of all of these valleys and these beautiful mountains that you're looking through. And it was hard to get to the top, guys. It took work. It took persistence. It took guides to help us get there without making mistakes. But it was absolutely beautiful. And when we got there, we realized that everybody that would walk by us who said it was worth it, keep going, it's worth it, keep going, it's worth it. It was worth it. But how many times do we stop when things get hard? How many times do we just decide to turn around and go back when things aren't going our way? Or how many times do we ignore somebody when they're there to help us, when they're there to guide us? I mean, I could have been listening. I could have had my fingers in my ears or listening to my ear pods and not heard a word any of them people said. And I could have ended up on the wrong path and went the wrong way. And it could have taken me 10 times longer. It could have caused me to give up, Same fucking thing in life, same thing in business. But what we had our eye on the prize. So we had a destination that we wanted to go. How many of you guys out there have a destination in your mind's eye? Something that you really, the thing is when you have your dream in your mind's eye, it's you can't create the beauty of that dream when you get there. Like that can't be recreated, but you can try. So the entire time we're sitting here thinking about how beautiful this is going to be, people passing us saying, keep going, guys. It's so beautiful up there. It's worth it. It's worth it. And we keep moving along and chugging along. And then we see this insane, crazy, beautiful image of the way this canyon looks all the way throughout the lookout. And we see just mountains galore. We're literally standing on top of a fucking mountain, breathing in, feeling the success. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely incredible. And life is a lot like that. Now, let me take it one step further because we knew we had to come down, right? And there's a lot of times in business, guys, you're going to get at the top and you're going to slide back. Things are going to happen that are going to discourage you. You're going to slide back, unfavorable conditions. People start a business and, something happens like COVID-19. You start your dream restaurant and then everything dies. You start your dream gym and then COVID-19 comes along and there's nothing you can do about it. You could try really, really hard, but things get tough, things get hard. So you slide back, right? So we had to go back. But let me tell you something. Going back wasn't as hard as getting there because we knew where we were going, right? So we knew where we were going. We had already walked that path before. Okay. So we come back and it's not near as hard. I mean, we went up some inclines, we were breathing heavy. We took a lot of stops because we were tired, but we knew how to get there. We knew what it looked like. We knew the milestones, we knew the markers, we knew, once we seen this tree, we were really close because it was a tree that we all sat there and looked at. So we knew the milestones, we knew what to find on the way back, right? Now here's the next phase of that. Some people get back and they say, "Man, that climb was too hard to do the first time. There's no way that I'm ever going to go do that climb again." If you climb that, and when I do climb that again, and when I take that journey again, it's going to be easy because I'm going to remember them milestones. I'm going to remember without even a guide to not go left, but to go right. Like it's imprinted in my mind's eye. Like I know that when we come to the first fork, we go right. And when we come to the second fork, we go right again. Okay. I know that when we get to a certain terrain on the trail, how close we are because I was monitoring it on the way back. I was looking at my watch and I knew that we were 30 minutes out from Zion. It's the fear of the unknown that first really crushes people's drive and spirit. But once you've been there and once you've taken yourself there once, the journey the next time is going to be that much easier because you've learned, you've experienced. And once you create the journey of creating a business, owning a business, launching something, building an empire, if you fall down at some point, your journey back up may be even fucking way more successful than the previous journey because you understand you've learned a lot. You have a lot of knowledge. You know what beauty's at stake. You know what's going on up there. You know how to get there. And each and every time that you do it, it makes it easier. So anyhow, guys, that's my I wanted to do a Savage sermon. Of course, I kind of through the mist of everything, I kind of missed that this week. I did drop a podcast yesterday though, and a video yesterday, but it wasn't the Savage Sunday. So I'm going to think of a good Savage Sunday one for next week for y'all. But other than that, man, I hope you guys have an amazing week. Monday right now, and I hope you guys are killing it out there, crushing it, just like my boy Drew B. Wilson says, crush the day before it crushes you. And that's it, y'all. You get a chance, hook up a review, y'all. We need to build this fucking podcast up. Help me build this empire. I'm going to keep dropping you massive amounts of knowledge. This costs nothing for you, but you got to pay a little something. Get on here and leave me a review. Share it with your friends, guys. We'll see you on the next one.